Hey everyone, so this is this week's tiara, and I was really inspired by this piece right here. And I've had this piece for quite a while, and I just didn't know what to do with it. And I kept pulling it out every week, trying to decide what I wanted to do, and then like putting it back and pulling it out and putting it back, and I just really couldn't figure out how I wanted to style it. And then I found this piece in my set of stuff, and I thought, okay, this might actually make a really cool piece because then I can just attach it. And so this is kind of how I came up with this idea, and that's how it started. So this is a pretty simple one, as always. And what I did was this actually has a loop to attach it to as a pendant, and so I cut that off and I wired it on to the base, and this was the first piece to wire on. And then I wired on these pieces right here. You can see the wiring, and I wired on that piece. And then I actually glued on. I started to wire on the gold, but it didn't really work very well, so I actually glued it on. I'd probably go back and add wire to it if I was trying to sell this piece, but as it is right now, it stays on there pretty well. It's got some extra glue on there as well. So then I embellished. So these wings were glued on to this piece right here. This piece was glued on to the front. These pieces were glued on to the gold, as well as this, this gem was also glued to the gold. And then this was glued on the back. So then, of course, I went through and I added the crystals. Since I picked a green, large crystal in the back, I thought, okay, let's just stick with greens. So these pack opals are some of my favorites. And then these are also pack opals, but they're iridescent as well. And then just to give it a different color, I did these darker ones so that it tied everything together. And you can kind of see these darker rainbows in these wings as well. So I thought that would tie in with those darker crystals right there. So let me just walk through it one more time. So this was wired on to the base right here. These were then wired on behind it, and they're wired on right there. And then I started gluing, and I glued these pieces on to the sides. I glued this piece on the front. I glued the gold band onto these two pieces right here. And then I glued on this piece, and this piece. And these pieces are just this type of piece, but cut in half so that we have that same element. And then of course this crystal's glued on, these are glued on, and then the rest of the crystals as well are glued on at the end. And there it is, this week's tiara. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.